your name being displayed there? Do you want to change that to your Twitter alias or anything?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I can so people know who I am.
Your call. I just never sure what
I don't.
I can change it to your Twitter handle if you'd like.
Yeah, just change it, I guess.
Yeah, everyone can go find your page from there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, we got some people joining up. What's up, guys?
Okay. All right, everybody. What's Bitcoin doing? Hold on, before we get started, I want to take a look at all this stuff quick. Dun, 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 dun. Right on.
I'm gonna be on the computer for a little while. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome. Let's get started. Brock, do you have a recording going?
I do.
Sweet. Well, if you're watching the recording, skip up to here. That joke's gonna get old one of these days. All right, we've got Elite Swing Trader from Twitter X at One Chart Master. I know many of you guys know him. I know we've talked about him in the chat. His ideas. He's one without a doubt one of my favorite follows. One of my favorite follows on X. And I'm looking forward to this conversation. Talk about some charts, talk about some trading style. So let's get right into it. Welcome, man. Thanks for coming on.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we just a casual conversation about trading style. So for those that maybe aren't familiar with who you are or what you do, what's your background? How'd you get into trading? What brought you here to us today?
Well, I'm a professional fisherman, man, and I've been doing that a long time, and I don't want to say bored, but I just wanted to do something else. I got tired of other people managing my money, and I decided I wanted to do it on my own. And here we are almost 10 years later, and we've come a long way.
Is that a long span when you got involved and started looking at charts 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, really got into it, we'll say about 8 years ago, but 10 years, maybe a little more, but really, really focused on it 8 years or so.
Awesome. What's it been like? What was the worst moment and best moment of those 10 years? Well, best moment, maybe right here, right now, interview with CSCR Trading and Brocco. But well, what was like one of the worst moments and what was one of the best moments?
One of my most memorable moments was riding Tilray from about 70 and
Oh wow.
thinking I was gonna get fucking rich, and it halted at 300, and when it opened back up, it was at 150, and fuck, I didn't know what to do, and it halted immediately again, and when it opened back up, it was at 200, and it closed the day, and I don't know. I gave back a bunch of money, and I learned pretty quick then that shit goes up like that. It went from like 150 to 300 that day, and I didn't sell anything. And I gave back a ton of money that day, and I learned that day about taking profits into strength.
There you go. That was that was this initial pot stock boom when Tilray IPO'd in 2018. This is like the core weave of today, except for it was a pot stock. um
Definitely one I'll never forget. I mean, I was up like 10 grand that day when it halted, and when it opened, I was down like, I mean, I was up, but I gave back like 5 grand. And I mean, I didn't even have a plan or anything at that point. I wasn't new to trading, but I was pretty new at trading. And I mean, I just, you think you're fixing to get rich. It's like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's just like, oh, this is it. It wasn't. You can see where it's at now. It's at like 50 cents now.
Yeah.
yeah, yes, it is. um um uh, um during so you said that taking profits into strength that taught you a lesson. Is do you continue to take profits in strength? Is that a mantra
I
of
do. I'm a strength. I like to unload into strength. I don't feel bad when it keeps going up. I feel bad when it comes back down. And I didn't sell when I knew I should have. I mean, I have an old saying. It's called the high five sell signal. When you're wanting to high five your buddy, it's time to take some off the table.
high five sell signal?
That actually answers the one question that I had for you today when it was I think I remember back in early June, if you want to pull up that HIMS chart. I remember I was involved in HIMS this day, and I didn't sell on this gap up, but it gapped up like 20% on that expansion news that day. And I saw your post on X that day, and you said you had sold that into strength on the gap up. And I was the one caught holding it when it came back and filled the gap. And I was going to ask you, how do you balance out, selling into strength versus, potentially having a really big winner on your hands, or if
I
you don't
think
care.
I think that experience with Tilray, I don't want to say it holds me back from like holding a big position for a long time, but it sure as hell makes me question it. When you get a 20% gap up, I mean, it's like a gift. Like if you don't take it and it comes back down, it hurts so much worse than if it keeps going and you took the profit. At least for me. I just hate like so many times it gaps up and then within 30 minutes it's gone. I've had it
Yeah.
happen time and time again and take at least part of it.
So
I
it is some of that experience from Tilray. Do you think some of that stems from confidence in your ability to identify another opportunity?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because those high range moving tickers, it goes up 20%, it goes down 20%. And it's somebody told me earlier in the year that alpha is fleeting, and that's 100% right. It's there 1 minute and it's not the next. That's because somebody took it, somebody cashed in. And you got to think, when you get a gap up like that, somebody was already holding, and now he's 20% more profitable. He's probably high five sell signal. Guess what he's doing?
Yeah.
He's unloading that shit, man. Don't be buying it. Unload it. At least part of it.
Yeah, at least part of it. Do you what are some of those sell rules, if you will, or sell strategy look like in terms of trimming partials or the whole thing? What is generally an approach, or maybe like a recent trade example, or just strategic kind of
I'm typically looking to lock in at 3 to 5%, a quarter, a third of the trade to at least get the majority of the risk paid for. And then if I can get another chop at 5 to 10% to lock in a little profit, then I can swing it without much concern and get your stop around break even, and then you can trail the 21 or the 50-day moving average if you really get on one that's acting right. And once you get on it and it's moving, it's a little easier. But in the beginning, when you don't have a cushion, it's a little more challenging, especially if they move 10% in a day.
Absolutely. So, your objective is to kind of finance some of that initial risk, put some money in your pocket, and then sometimes let the stock do what it's going to do. If you have longer confidence in the trade continuing.
Absolutely. And I may add down the line. And when I make an ad, I treat it as a different trade, two
Mhm.
separate trades, and I'll trade them differently. The ad, it may just be a short, just a little profit trade, just 5%, and I'll sell it and take the money. But you just keep trading around your core like Hims. I traded around that thing a lot. And eventually it gapped down. I had a little position left and I took the loss on that. But there for a while, I was trading it really good and not holding it. Some people they just buy and hold it. But if I can make 25% in a few days, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
chances are you're going to see a 10% swing the other way or more. And if you're not taking it into strength, you're probably going to take it into weakness. So
Absolutely. What would let's say you enter a trade and it ultimately turns into a loss. What do some of your losing trades look like? How quickly do they occur? And generally at what percentage or what risk per trade and on losing trades ends up
try to
occurring?
keep it at 0.5% to 1% tops. But if you can buy on low enough risk, especially on support, you kind of know where to get out. I tried to buy ELF the other day when it pulled back to the 21-day moving average. The next day it opened up below the 21-day moving average. I sold it. I took a loss and that was it. But a lot of times I can pick it up at the 21-day moving average and the next day it'll bounce back up. But that trade didn't work.
Yeah, this is one. This is one that kind of undercut the 20 minute. I'm actually watching this. Potentially in the coming days or whatever, if it wants to, push here and remount above the 9 and the 20 here. If we start to pop there, I'd be willing to take this, like right here through this spot. Let's say we gap out, take out previous day high around 118, 119, give or take.
I don't think it's done. I just don't think it was ready, and I wasn't willing to sit in it in the
Yeah.
meantime.
So
So
is that 0.5% or is that of your overall account, or are you talking about like on your like per share, or like how's that work?
yeah, I mean, on a trade, I mean, never any more than a half or 1% of my account. I mean, that's what you're shooting for tops. But I mean, it just depends on where the moving average is or low a day. I mean, you're gonna have to give it a little bit of room. But on this particular trade, I bought towards the end of the day, and so the next morning when it took out the low of the previous day and also the 21-day moving average, I was out. I didn't give it any time. I sold it right after the open for the most part.
Yeah.
I got a question. So what are your what would you classify as I guess your bread and butter setups that you like to trade?
Earnings flags that have flagged out for a week or two or three or even four.
There's been a few of those. Is there any particularly memorable?
Oracle was a good one here recently.
Oracle is very good recently.
I bought towards the bottom of the flag and then it gapped up. I sold the gap up about, I don't know, 3/4 of my position. I sold the majority of my position. It pulled back all day. I bought a little bit more back, and then I bought more the following day when it retested. And then you can see the next day it ran back up again. And I've got a pretty good position in it.
So
But
you're talking about
I've traded around my core a couple of times, and we just see what happens here. It's kind of slowed down, but I think it's going to keep pushing higher.
yeah, this I mean, there's a great example of power earnings gap right here, and you're talking about you ended up purchasing it right around here, and this is the gap up that you captured on like
Yes,
June 30th.
Yes.
And then you re-engaged on this candle as it retested right here.
Yeah. I posted a chart showing a 30-minute chart and it broke out that following day. I like to use a 30-minute pivot strategy. I use that a lot for entries. And
Someone asked about that, I think, in the chat.
yeah, when you go to the 30-minute chart, you'll see the candles change color. And a lot of times the change in color represents the pivot. And when it stays the opposite color, it's changing. And you'll see the green candles, it's pretty much stay green all day.
So where is there a different example other than Oracle you'd like to use to
Earnings flags?
no for the 30-minute pivot?
I used it on Robinhood. I believe yesterday.
All right. So about where on that and I know my charts are different, not yours, but like where I remember you posting about this 30-minute pivot here. Let me try to find it.
Yeah, sorry.
Here we go. Oh, just today.
Yeah, today, not yesterday. Today, sorry.
Yeah, right there. I was about to say I can see it right
today.
there. So yeah,
it seems like yesterday now that the trading day's over.
So yeah, okay. So
I picked up some of that today.
Tell us about this. What you look for, how you use it, how you trade it.
Okay, so you see the first 30-minute red bar.
Yep.
It went down to about. It went down and closed, and then you see the following bar turn green, and the high of the second 30-minute bar is the trigger point. When the third candle, which is the second green candle,
yep,
goes above the high of the first green candle, that's the trigger of the 30-minute pivot.
And you're putting your stop loss at the lows of the day?
You put your stop loss at the low of the previous 30-minute candle.
Okay, so the pivot candle.
So the trigger is the high and the stop is below the low.
Okay.
And you can see all day after that, every candle was green the rest of the day.
Just trended on up into 90. So you're looking at some of the math on this. This triggers at the high of this 30-minute candle, 94.83, with a stop down here about 93.50. So $1.30 of risk. This ends up moving about $4. So that is.
It helps people that have FOMO and want to buy off the the open.
Mm-hmm.
So many times that first 15-minute candle, it's just a liquidity grab. Like they here, buy this, dummy, and then they shake you off, and before you know it, if you would have just waited, you could have got it far cheaper, and it's probably going to end up going higher than where you bought it anyway. But you're probably going to get stopped out before it goes. So for me, I tend to buy either late morning or in the afternoon is when I typically do the best.
Joe's open, pros close.
That's right. It's a while to figure that out. You're so eager to buy when you're new, and that's it.
So one phrase we've always used on this, which I think is applicable that some people might be able to recognize, is I often say, get a green candle to hold, break the previous candle high. So, it's essentially the same, similar concept or strategy, using these 30-minute candles as the high as the trigger and the low as the stop.
The 30-minute candle, I can't exactly explain to you why, but it tends to block out the noise and show you the true actual trend. Like you can see how all day the Robinhood candles, they were all green. I mean, just straight green after the first red candle. So it was just a shakeout, and then it trended higher the rest of the day.
Absolutely beautiful. And this is something that you coined yourself, that you discovered on the charts with it by trading them, right? I mean,
I like to trade options on pivots, and my option strategy is, it's kind of like how a yo-yo works. Like a yo-yo goes down so far and then it has to go back the other way. Well, I find stocks are the same way. They go down to a certain point and then they pull back the other way. Well, if you can buy at that pivot point, you go green right now and you can buy in the money options, weekly options, and you can become profitable rapidly if you know how to time it. Well, the 30-minute pivot strategy is what I really came up with for the yo-yo option strategy. You want to buy when the premium is pushed down. So when it pops back the other way, you're instantly green. If you chase it, you're going to get your ass burned trading options. You can't chase it. So
And
catching that pivot is essential for my strategy.
this is like a pretty prime environment, I'd say, for that, where there has been.
Oh, 100%. It's yeah.
I traded the triple Q down this morning puts for 40%. And then I traded them up. I unloaded most of them for 70%. And then I unloaded the rest for like 110%. So I traded down and then I traded back up. I mean, the market to me moves a lot more than it used to move 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, what happened to the 20, like the 1/4% days or the 0.5% days? Now the market moves 2, 3, 4% some days up and down.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you go back to 2017, specifically, that was like the least, actually, it was the least volatile year in the indexes in history. And now we've got like just the most insane range over the past 3 to 4 years. It's been incredible, honestly. You
It
can
really
explain
is.
it. You can explain it.
I have a question. In say like a correction bear market, maybe like we saw in February, March, and into early April. What kind of trading are you doing then, if any?
I'm not much of a shorter, so I just typically will go cash, and I like to scalp puts, and that's where the 30-minute strategy comes in. You can trade both ways and just stick and move. You don't have to put a lot of money, out there. You don't have to have a lot of risk on where you catch big gap downs like you can swing trading. And I just mess around with those until the time's right. And then when you get the pivot, I'm ready to load the boat. I remember you caught the bottom, Brazy, didn't you?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Well done.
Thank you.
I did when you caught that, but then it pulled back. And when it pulled back, that's when I loaded up on a lot of stuff. And I didn't get the bottom, but I got the first pullback. And it's been good.
It has been good. So okay, so you had briefly mentioned in the money call options or put options.
That's what I trade. I don't trade any leaps. I've seen so many people get their ass burned trading leaps. And the old boom and bust cycle gets them. They boom, boom, boom. They get overextended with options, and then they get a big gap down, and they get chapped. I've seen it so many times. And so I just stick to what I do, and that's it. They're a pretty good tool for what I like, and that's it. I don't try to get greedy with them.
Do you trade shares as well, or
Oh yeah, I like to trade shares mostly, but I like to use options when the market, is weak, especially because I can read the price action, and I don't like to short, so I just buy puts.
That's right. In the money, are you talking like for example today on the Qs? That's your first trade at open on the Qs. You want to walk us through how you approach that, what strike you entered, etc.
Hold on just a second. So this morning it gapped up and it was weak right off. The first 15-minute candle was weak. When it took out the low of the first 15-minute candle, that's when I bought puts. And I think, let me look. It looks like I bought 255 puts.
555.
Yeah, not 255, 555 puts.
Right on. So
July 10th.
very nice.
I
And
sold those for 40%, and then I turned around and I bought 555 calls.
and then rode this for the majority of
Excuse
the
me, five.
afternoon.
Excuse me, 553 calls, and I wrote them up for 100%, 70 and 100%.
Beautiful. Beautiful work.
And then I bought some hood, and that's about all I did today.
And any what else is what other trades have you taken like the standout? I mean, you but first off, again, just want to reiterate the charts that you post throughout the day in the evening are phenomenal, and the way you present them is so straightforward. Any notable any other notable trades of the past either couple weeks or couple months that you want to break down?
TSSI was one of my really good trades.
Yes, sir.
I rode that one really good. I sold not the top, but almost at the top. And I thought I got out too early and it went up a little higher and I was kicking myself, but now it's come back down like I figured it was going to. And it was a good trade.
And you so you where'd you enter? So by the way, I took this same trade as well on this candle right here on 5/30 May 30th.
Yep, May 30th. And then I added more. I think June 4th.
June 4th. So
And then added more June 6th, I believe.
there we go. What gave you the conviction on this to ride it for longer?
I found the ticker on the trading list or trading view hot list. I look at that pretty much every day at the volume gainers and the percent gainers on the US listings. So I look at that every day and it popped up on there and I looked at it. It was highest volume ever. And it made like a little cup at pretty much all-time highs, and then it made a little handle and we bought it. I mean, it's typically a little bit lower market cap than I like to trade, but here again, I've been trying to do a little mix of medium to slower movers and high range tickers, and this one kind of fit the bill and it didn't disappoint. I mean, it never really did anything wrong until it hit the peak there. Now it's back down below the 21-day moving average and probably going to come all the way back down to retest like I don't know what the 18 level, I guess, would be the retest. Somewhere in there.
In the zone. I'm looking for this to potentially hold the top of this like second breakout range, somewhere 22 right around here is
Maybe it might stop in there at 2150.
Yeah.
But it may pull all the way back down to the 50.
Yeah. Absolutely could. So you had mentioned or before we were talking about high volume close. You had mentioned on TSSI the highest volume ever. In what way do you use that to identify trades and
I found that when you have that highest volume ever gap up, it's something you really need to focus on. There's plenty of them that have really done well. Alst would be another one that's had a couple of good moves off the highest volume ever candle. I have it where it shows up on my volume, and I mean you can't miss it. And once you start seeing it, and I think QS is another one that's moving right now off highest volume ever candle. Yeah, it had two back to back on the gap up, and now it's just continuing higher.
Yes, it is. QS.
Yeah, you see those two highest volume ever candles back to back.
Yeah.
That right there is like, that's telling you somebody knows something. I mean, I don't know what they know. I don't even care. I just know they know something. Like that ain't your Aunt Judy buying.
That ain't man Rav.
So, but yeah, I mean that highest volume ever. That's just another layer of probability to add to your trade. I mean, it. You know, if I had to pick one over the other, if one had the highest volume ever, I'm going with that one every time.
And then you just use that then to identify potentially stocks in play, stocks to pay attention to, and then look for a setup.
Yes, I mean it's not always on earnings, but a lot of times it's on earnings. So you know, there you go. You got the earnings gap up. It's the highest volume it's ever traded. Just you know, it'll flag out. It just starts turning into everything you want.
There we go. Man, I asked the group if they've got any questions, so I'm starting to sift through the questions in the chat for you. So I'm gonna continue to send them out. What's like your average hold period for one of the swing trades? We talked about a 30-minute pivot, but what's the average hold period maybe for one of the swing trades like a TSI, QS, or anything in between? And then what does the position sizing generally look like for you?
The higher ADR tickers, I mean, you're talking days most of the time, just a few days. But tickers like, you know, Avgo or Nvidia, you know, those can be weeks to months or longer, just depending on how they perform. I have, you know, both of those and Spotify that I've had for quite a while. And, you know, those are kind of different. I have those in a different account. I guess you consider them more long term trades. But in my trading account, they don't typically stay in there that long. You know, sometimes a couple of weeks or even a month. But it just depends on how the market shakes out. The way the market moves these days, it's hard to hold anything too long. I can't hear anybody.
Hey, TC, are you there?
Oh, sorry, I had muted.
You're good. You're asking a question.
So do you keep some of those styles of trade in separate accounts then? To where you'll keep your oh shoot, not he muted. Brock,
He's
let me
good.
ask.
He's
I
good.
got
There we go. Where you'll keep your swing trades like a Nvidia, like a Spotify, AVGO in those separate accounts, and then like the QQQ options trade in another account.
Yes, two totally different accounts.
Awesome. So you can kind of be like two separate traders.
I got an IRA, I've got a SEP IRA, and I've got two different trading accounts. So I try to keep the, you know, the more longer term trades in my SEP IRA, and they're not managed near as daily. I mean, they're managed, but pretty much just set to stop and move on with those kind of trades. But these high ADRs, it's more trading than holding.
Absolutely. Dark, I think you had kind of covered some of the sell rules for sign of strength and weakness. Here's a good one, kind of from earlier. Throughout your 10 years of trading, when did you start to refine your process and see some success? Did you go through different styles or periods of success and failure? Whereas in, you know, a lot of newer traders expect to see that success overnight. What's that journey been like over 10 years through success and failure?
I made money my first year, second, third, and fourth year. I don't think I made anything. I think I lost money. And then I started making money after that, but not very good. And then year 5 and 6, I guess, is when it really started doing really good. Really started having things come together. And I started using options and you know, for me, I was able to make money, but then I kept giving it back. It'd be up and down, and it was like I could never make any anyway, because I would have good times and then I'd have bad times. And when I stopped trying to trade long during tough periods and started focusing on sitting in cash and just scalping options and things like that to just make a quick buck and wait for the setups to come back, that's when things really started to change for me. You know, there's a time to trade long, and then there's a time to sit on your hands or to scalp or whatever. But when you're trying to fight the tape and trade the wrong direction, you're going to get chopped up every time.
I thought you were actually going to say a market adage, which there's a time to go long, there's a time to go short, and there's a time to go fishing.
That's true. That's true. That's what Livermore said.
Yeah. Here's a good question from DJ. How do you pick what stocks you're playing with options and what stocks you're playing with shares, or what's your stock selection or screening process look like in general?
I'm only trading options on tickers that have high open interest and high liquidity. I like the triple Q. I like Tesla. I like NVIDIA sometimes, but if it doesn't have high open interest, I don't even think about it.
So like at TSSI, obviously you're not even going to consider the options.
No, absolutely not. Not for me.
What are some of your goals personally for trading going forward after 10 years? What do you want the next 10 to look like?
My next 10 years to educate my kids about trading and investing and money, and just continue to live a free life as far as having to slave for money. I mean, being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, that's what trading is all about for me. You know, I don't have to go fishing anymore unless I want to. I don't have to work anymore. I mean, I don't consider trading working to me. I mean, I used to have to go work for money. Now I just sit in front of my computer and push a couple buttons. It's almost like a video game.
It is.
It is. You just got to learn when to push the buttons.
I will say some of, aside from your charts, some of my your posts that are my favorite will be like, just for example, today where you're hanging out with the kid at the trampoline place or wherever, and it was a screenshot of some profits from the trampoline place, and I thought that was just awesome.
I trade from Carline. I trade from wherever I take my kids. I mean, we're always doing something.
Yeah.
And you know, I made it a point to not fish this summer because I don't see any reason to put my kids in daycare when I can be with them. I mean, I'd rather be with my kids and put them in daycare, and it's been great. Can't put a price tag on it.
You can. I've got 4 kids myself, by the way.
I know. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good time. I hope stash up enough money over the next X amount of years to continue to do that.
Absolutely. They've got college accounts. I've opened them custodial trading accounts. We're fixing to get moving towards that a little bit. And yeah, just keep progressing. I like to help people with trading and talk about it. And, you know, I don't really have anybody else to talk about it. My friends don't trade. My dad, he talks about gold and silver, but you know, that's it. My wife, I mean, you know, there's nothing to talk about there. So when I came to Twitter, it was a good place to communicate and educate and vent and all the things you wanted to say and talk about. I didn't have anywhere to do it. I did have a chat room before, but I just didn't like the mindset in there. You know, people blowing their accounts up with options and just doing dumb shit. And I just didn't want to be responsible for it. And so I just went my separate way and I started posting on Twitter, and I don't know, it just felt good to help people. And here we are. I've been doing it a few years and come a long way. It's
Yeah,
made
that
you a better trader.
I was gonna say what's your is that you kind of led into this? What is your objective or goal with your profile and with your Twitter account, and what have you gained, and what do you hope for people to gain from that?
The chart work, I mean, I enjoy doing it. So it's just, I don't watch TV anymore. I'm just strictly in the charts all the time, just learning and studying and watching and reviewing before and after. And it's just amazing how things they just cycle through. They move from one ticker to the other, and the setups are. I was saying that the institutions set the charts up. It's our job to find the setup before they move it. They're going to move it when they get ready. You just got to be ready when they're ready. You can't force it to move. It's only going to move when they're ready for it to move. But you can see it in the chart if you look. And that's why I look a lot.
There's always evidence. There's always footprints.
There is. It's wild.
It's truly amazing. I don't think a day's gone by where the market, the price action of the market or the price action of individual stocks has not impressed me. The way that they set up, the way that they develop prior to a move, or prior to news, for example, and then make their move, and then follow through, and then slow down, and then pull back. It's just over and over again, like flipping a coin, like you often say on your page. It's amazing.
This move has really paid to get in the best tickers early and then just kick your feet up and just sit there. Robinhood, Nvidia, Avgo. I mean, Meta. I mean, there's so many of them. They're all back at all-time highs, and all you had to do was buy back in April and just sit there. Close your computer. I mean, honestly, that's how easy swing trading is. It's about when you buy. Now, if you're buying late in the cycle, you're probably getting your ass chopped up because, it's not so easy anymore. But if you bought back in April and just shut your computer, you're probably feeling pretty good right now.
Feeling pretty
A
good.
lot of people are. But I know a lot of people missed the move, and now they're trying to figure out how to get in. And it's tough if you don't have a big cushion.
That is very true. I mean, I love the phrase that the best time to buy stocks is coming out of a correction. And I mean, this is like a hyper magnified example of that, what we've witnessed over the past few months. What would you say to people who were maybe too distracted or too fearful, and missed a portion of the early part of the move, up until now, or up until a couple weeks ago, when things started getting a little more difficult?
Shut the TV off and listen to the EMAs. When that 8 EMA crosses the 21 and the 21 crosses the 50 to the upside, that's your momentum change, and follow it. And if you look, there's so many stocks that haven't even come close to crossing back the other way. They're just trending higher, and they've been trending that way for a couple of months now. And if you just followed the EMAs and didn't listen to anything else except that, you can't hardly lose. But all the intraday action and everything that happens, if you're paying attention to the screen all the time, you're probably going to get shaken out. I do. It happens. I got shaken out of Hood several times. So I just trade now Hood because I don't have the cushion on it. But I've done well with it. But I could have just bought it and just sat there with it. Instead of having to figure out when to get in, when to get out. I mean, swing trading really is that easy if you can buy coming out of a correction like that. I mean, look how much the market's moved. I mean, the market's up like close to 40% off the lows. It's crazy. It's fucking incredible. Nuts, man.
It really is.
I was fortunate enough to add a couple $1,000s to each of my kids' college accounts almost at the lows before it hit low. and it's really paid off for my kids. I mean, just a couple $1,000s added to their college accounts really made that big a difference because it's gone back up so much since then.
And in a few years, most likely it'll be another pullback, or a few months, few weeks, whatever. It'll be another pullback and rinse and
That's when
repeat.
I'll add more again.
There we go.
I don't trade that. It's just I just buy when it pulls back. It's just something that just sits there.
I do the same thing for my young children.
It's just too much. I mean, you can't fucking manage everything. It's so much. So we just buy and hold with that, and we're pretty heavy into tech, and it's been good.
Two more things. A message to traders struggling to find their way and their style and their system and strategy. What sort of message would you have for someone like that?
You can't live in fear. Fear is the biggest holdback for most traders. Fear of losing, fear of giving back, fear of not being able to do it. Fear. You can't live in fear. You got to be able to accept the risk before you enter any trade, or you're going to be fearful and you're probably not going to trade it the way it needs to be traded. You got to trade in the zone, like Mark Douglas says. Can't live in fear. I think fear was the biggest thing for me after Tilray. I was always scared of giving back. Always giving back. Always scared about giving back. And fear. I've never been one that's been greedy. It's always been the fear of giving back my big winner.
You found your approach and your way to minimize or remove that fear.
Yeah, just keep at it and keep working on you. I mean, you're not trading against anybody but yourself at the end of the day.
I love it. What are your goals for the rest of the year? I know that you've performed incredibly well. Rest of 2025, rest of July, rest of the summer. What are your goals? Could be trading, personal, whatever.
Well, spend the rest of the summer with my kids here. We got another month or so to go, and I don't know, fall's coming. Probably do some more fishing here soon, but I don't know. Had an offer to go to Alaska. I've been pondering that while I'm here in Michigan till Sunday, and I don't know. I'm probably not going to go. I mean, it'd be cool to go, but my daughter's birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks, and I don't know. Family's just more important than working anymore. My idea going back to Alaska is taking my kids up there.
Yeah. I know a couple halibut fishermen up in Alaska. Two members of my family are halibut fishermen up there.
Yeah. I fished up there 15 summers working, and I've caught my share of them.
What's the bar called? It's like the salty something with the dollar bills.
The Salty Dog in Homer.
Yeah, in Homer. Yep, that's where I got a couple of cousins that live right up there.
Right on. Yeah, I fished the last summer I fished up there 6 years ago. I worked in Homer. Cool place.
Very cool. Joe, thank you for coming on. By the way, a couple of messages in the chat. I'm just going to read to you. Some of them are short. Great interview. Love it. Man, this guy sounds like he fits in with us. Conversation about trading strategy. Man, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate the message.
Anytime. I like to talk about trading. Hopefully next time I can get my my screen up where I can share my charts with you guys.
Yeah, do you want to come on a couple months, 6 months from now, whenever?
Anytime you want.
Awesome, man. Really appreciate it. And hey, I sent you my phone number too in the chat. I would love to connect some more sometime. Yeah. And
you ever go to Florida? We'll go fishing.
I hope so. Like I said, I've been trying to convince my wife for 10 years to move down there. I'll let you know.
It should be hard to get her down there in the winter at least.
You'd think.
That hard, huh?
Uh, all right, man. Take care. Look forward
All
to
right.
seeing some charts, and let's see what the market gives us tomorrow, huh?
All right, I'll get back to work here. I'll be posting here shortly.